Halo, the Silver Timeline, Season 2, Episode 4. The episode that many people are saying is the best episode yet? What do you mean? I actually agree with that. I do think this is the best episode so far, but that's not really saying a whole lot, is it? Considering the bar is so low for this show. It truly is, man. In fact, you could go as far as to say it's the best of the worst. But with that being said, this is actually the closest it's ever been to being a Halo show.
Say what?
So the episode starts with Vanek feeding pigeons because remember in the first episode how he talked about how he likes to watch animal videos now? Well, don't worry because we're going to have a bit more Vanek coming up, but keep that in mind. He likes animals now. But after that, we get to the credits, which again, I think the credits in the show is actually decent because they had this crazy idea to use Halo music in a Halo show. Well, what's supposed to be a Halo show anyway. But after that, we jump back on the streets of Reach with Chief and Perez as they are leaving from the explosions going off. And we can see that the streets are in absolute chaos with people running away and trying to escape. And we see Perez supposed to run into this building to get a family. And then the whole building blows up. And the destruction, it does actually look kind of cool as the camera pans out and zooms around a little bit. I like the destruction on this scene that's going on here. Holy crap, I've said something positive about the show. So from that, it jumps to Halsey when she's back in that jail place with Soren, and they can feel that there's shockwaves going on around them, but of course they can't really see what's going on. But then one of the shockwaves knocks out the projection, so Soren is just able to walk out of the room and Halsey follows him. I thought they were going to go in this direction of trying to create this little side story with Halsey and Soren, but nope, they just walk out the front door. So back with Chief and Perez, we can see that for some reason, elites with active camouflage are in the streets and just manhandling and throwing civilians around instead of, just killing them and executing them on the spot. Instead, they're just kind of throwing them around. Like, what's going on with that? When in reality, this is what should have happened.
When one human world after another fell.
Now, Chief ends up getting into a fist fight with one of these camouflaged elites. And this is the first and many fight scenes that I can assume that we will be having in this season where Chief is completely out of his armor. And while this fight's going on, there's so many times he should have been killed by this elite. This elite is like punching him and stuff, man. And in case you didn't know, they're a lot stronger than you and I. One thing that really needs to be understood about Spartan Mjolnir armor is that yes, even without it, a Spartan, especially a Spartan 2, is way above what a normal human could ever hope to accomplish. You have to remember though, he's not in a fight with a human, he's in a fight with a Sangheili. A simple way to put this is the armor just helps even the playing field, but he has no armor. I would love to see an edit of this fight scene where someone has put the armor over him and we can see him going toe-to-toe with an elite inside the armor. That would have been cool to see. But no, this is the Halo Paramount show where apparently Master Chief hardly ever wears his helmet or his armor for that matter. So after that, we cut back to Halsey and Soren who are still escaping the facility and they have a bit of a conversation. It's not really worth talking about here. There's more important stuff that's going to happen with those two. We'll save these little details for when we do the breakdown live stream, so be sure to check that out. Anyway, back with Chief and Perez. They are safe for the time being inside like an old antiques. Well, for them, it's an antiques store. For us, it's like a modern day store. Maybe somewhat antiques. It's like typewriters and stuff. And this is where Chief begins to tell Perez about the coin flip story. Now, for people like me, and most of you watching this, the coin flip is an important part of Master Chief's story. It goes back to when he was a kid and when he first met Halsey. But for those people that don't know anything about that, it means absolutely nothing. But in the Silver Timeline, it also means absolutely nothing. It's got no context, no nothing. This isn't the same Master Chief, but for some reason they talk about the coin flip. Him being lucky and all that type of stuff has never had anything to do with this show. It's just a random story that's brought up for no reason and has no context going forward, except later he flips a coin to Perez, so I guess that's the payoff. Oh, and while all that's going on, I believe there's actually an original Xbox in the background of the vintage store. That's kind of a cool place to put it, I guess. Now, next up, we get a battle scene with the UNSC and the Covenant, and it looks like the Covenant might actually be prominent in this episode. Oh, and look, Spartan Riz is there, and she's also out of armor. Last we saw her, she was a third wheel at a gay couple's dinner. Now, it's here where we get this line from Chief. It just doesn't feel right to me to have Jimmy Rings of the Silver Team say one of Master Chief's most iconic lines. It's like he hasn't earned the right to say that. This character is very far from being an accurate portrayal of Master Chief, hence we call him Jimmy Rings or Master Chiefs. Well, I guess we call him Master Chief because his ass was hanging out in every episode. It just feels so unearned and like he's constantly out of character. So for him to have one of Master Chief's most iconic lines, it doesn't feel right. Oh, and you know, you could also add the fact that he's out of armor here saying the line as well.
Negative infinity. I don't like it.
But anyway, never mind that. The gay couple is here on the battlefield. Even Lewis's blind ass is there with a grenade launcher and yo, he's popping off, man. He's getting multi-kills left, right, and center. But anyway, the actual fight itself, you know, it's kind of cool in all honesty. Now, I want you to imagine how cool this would actually look if these Spartans were in their armor. Every single Spartan in this episode does in fact have a fight with the Covenant, and none of them are in armor. Now, I understand that plot-wise in this show, they couldn't possibly be in their armor at this point, but this show constantly goes out of its way to find reasons why they're not in their armor. It's like we see more of... That's one of the main complaints of this show, is we see what's supposed to be Master Chief outside of his armor more than we actually see him with his armor. It went from being, holy crap, can you keep the helmet on, to, yo, can you at least put the armor on? It's like we're getting less and less each season. Now, while this fight is going on, there is one part that I really want to nitpick here, but this show deserves to be nitpicked to high hell. It has not earned any goodwill whatsoever. While there's definitely parts of this episode I do like, this is still a shitty episode and a still shitty show. It's just the best part so far, and it's the closest to being Halo. But anyway, the nitpick is Master Chief has a pistol and he puts about, I don't know, 2 to 4 bullets tops into the foot of an elite, and that's enough to break its shields. Oh, and Lewis's boyfriend dies here as well. I can't even remember his name. And then, believe it or not, I am not making this up, we actually see a Wraith. I was shocked. This episode is actually showing the Covenant. Remember them, the main antagonist of this whole IP? They're actually in this episode, and they're doing stuff. So Lewis with the grenade launcher, who is blind, by the way, chooses to sacrifice himself to destroy the tank upon learning that his boyfriend has died. Hey, Paramount, you've killed 2 gay characters in this episode. I don't know if the higher-ups are going to like that, but you have killed off a gay couple, so... oh boy. So back with Halsey and Soren, as they are escaping the facility, they encounter Cortana. So that means that Akison left the planet without taking Cortana with him. Now that just seems like a very silly thing to do, and there's a moment that happens a little bit later on which just reinforces how much of a stupid idea it was to leave Cortana behind. Leaving Cortana behind is dumb because guess what happens? She gets unplugged by Mackie. She falls into the hands of the Covenant. If you weren't going to leave her behind, wouldn't you just deactivate her or something like that? Unless he was thinking, well, let's just leave her behind so maybe the UNSC can use her. But he said that, you know, this planet was doomed anyway. I don't know. The idea of just leaving Cortana behind is stupid. Plain and simply stupid. Because this was the inevitable result. She gets taken by the Covenant, and by none other than Mackie. So the chick that our boy Jimmy Rings banged in the previous season has now taken the AI that watched them do the deed. This is a really weird love triangle. So anyway, Chief, Riz and Perez make it back to FleetCom, and you can see that everything is a mess. And I like this part, I do. It helps push forward that this is an intense situation. This is a full-blown battle that's going on over here. It's here they meet up with Vanek, and he tells them that Akison has taken all their Spartan armor with him. Okay, so this is where opinions are going to be really interesting to hear from others. So me personally, I believe that this is the most Akison thing that Akison has done in this show. He, in both timelines, the Silver Timeline and the real canon, does not like Spartan 2s, and he is heavily a part of the Spartan 3 program. So I do get why he'd want to take the armors with him, but in canon, he would make it look like an accident if Chief and all that was to be killed, or any Spartan 2 was to be killed. He'd make it look like an accident. So this seems very short-sighted for someone like him. And like I mentioned before, the fact that he didn't take Cortana with him, so while I believe this to be an in-character-like thing to do, it's also incredibly short-sighted and not at all like Akison should be doing in character. So just imagine in this timeline, if Chief dies on Reach over here, right now, he's gone, okay? and Ackerson just happens to have a Spartan 2 Mjolnir armor with him, and it has the numbers 117 on it, I don't think that would go down very well with anyone. But like I said, this little topic here on this episode is definitely something I'm interested to hear from others about. Anyway, after that, Jimmy Rings goes and talks with Jacob Keyes, and Keyes admits that he was an absolute dumbass in the past episodes, but now he is very committed to evacuating the civilians. And he gives this speech to rally all the troops and the Marines, and holy crap, this might be one of the worst inspiring speeches I have heard in anything, man. So he gets up there and basically says, yo, you're all gonna die. Very inspiring, right?
It is my honor to introduce to you John 117, known as Master Chief. Today he needs no armor. Today all he needs is the warrior inside him. And it's the same warrior that's in each of you.
But then he gets Master Chief up there, using him as a symbol to inspire everyone, saying, hey, this is the Master Chief, and look, he's not in armor, he's just like you and me. Okay, a few things about this. One, everyone in this show has seen Master Chief. He constantly walks around with his armor off. No one should be surprised. And the fact that his jacket has 117 written on it, I think people can figure out that he's Master Chief over there, okay? And two, he just said that everyone is gonna die and that Master Chief is just like you and he doesn't need his armor.
Bruh.
So what he basically just said was, not only are you all gonna die, but your symbol of a hero, Master Chief, is also gonna die with you. Again, very inspiring. Alright, now one last thing that I need to mention before we move on to the end of his speech over here is, while I do not like the idea, I want to say that again, I do not like this idea, this actually could have worked. You could have had Master Chief always in armor. This whole thing relies that he's always in armor and no one's seen his face. Reach is under attack. The odds are impossible for the UNSC to win this. Now Master Chief is here, he doesn't have his armor, and they use that to go, hey, this badass dude, this dude that you all look to, this dude that is the face of a hero in this galaxy, look at him. He looks a lot like me. He looks a lot like you. He is a human. You are a human. They could have done something like that. Granted, that all relies on the fact that he had been in his armor the whole show, which he hasn't. But instead, Keyes says, you're all gonna die, and he's got no armor, so he's probably gonna die too. And then right towards the end of the speech, he turns into Sergeant Johnson for a little bit. Why not just have Johnson here? That's right, he doesn't seem to exist in this timeline.
The one that is willing to lay down your life for your home. For every moment that we hold the enemy at bay, more innocent people can escape on the transports. And when they do, they will go forth and tell the story that you write today. You will be remembered as the brave women and men who laid down their lives so that one day our children may live without fear of this monster we call war. Show those scaly bastards they fucked with the wrong planet!
This speech sucked. You're all gonna die, but these scaly bastards fucked with the wrong planet. If you're saying that everyone here is gonna die, then I'm pretty sure that these scaly bastards did in fact fuck with the right planet. The Covenant can in fact handle the smoke. So after that speech, Chief then stops Keyes from joining them on the front line by saying that he will be needed in the future and he also needs to evacuate Reach and get on the last shuttle with civilians and escaping. So Chief and everyone take their positions on the bridge, and there's even a Scorpion tank with them. Again, this is the closest episode we've had from this show to actually being Halo. Still not there, still not quite there yet, but it is the closest. So Halsey and Soren also make it to Fleet Comm, and Keyes is still there, and he sends them to evacuate with him, but on the hangar they are attacked by jackals, and these jackals look terrible, man. They look worse than they did in Season 1. And yes, they still have energy swords as well. Hearing that the hangar is under attack, Silver Team makes their way back to the hangar. As the shuttle attempts to take off, they can't because the fuel pumps are still connected, so Keyes gets off the shuttle to unplug them, and while he does exactly that, he finds himself surrounded by jackals. He then orders Perez to take off with the shuttle, and while that's happening, Soren grabs Halsey so they can both escape. Just as they get out of the hangar, they bump into Silver Team, and Keyes ignites the fuel pumps, causing an explosion, sacrificing himself. So in this timeline, he doesn't even get to get off Reach, he doesn't even get to discover a Halo ring, and ultimately he is not killed by the Flood. Huh. So who the fuck's going to be on the Pillar of Autumn? Is that even going to be in this show? But it's not over yet. The Covenant make their way to outside the hangar and another fight breaks out. So while all this is happening, one of the elites who we have to assume is the general from the prayer in the last episode, now he is here and he gets into a one-on-one fight with Chief. Now this is where I'm going to do something I never normally do. I'm going to throw the show a bone here and say that because of Mackie, I do believe it's possible that the Covenant know what Chief looks like. Because the general picks him out of the crowd and he's like, you, me, let's go. And considering Mackie did get a very good look at him, I think it's possible the Covenant knows what he looks like. And by very good look, I mean a very good look. So while those two are having their fight, another elite takes a shot at Chief, and this enrages the general, causing him to cut off the head of the elite that took the shot at Chief. Now this general, who I am assuming is going to be the Silver Timeline's Arbiter, he shows qualities that he is a mix of Halo 2 Arbiter and Halo Wars Arbiter, so they're kind of going to combine the two characters into one. And by the way, we are working on a banger of a Felfadam video for this channel. The best Arbiter, the best character in all of Halo, so get ready for that. But getting back towards the tail end of the show, as the General's energy sword is about to come down on Chief, Mackie is there to call off the attack. So Vanek uses this chance to shoot the elite multiple times with a needler, and one of the needles actually gets stuck in the General's chest. He then pulls it out and stabs Vanek with it, and this causes a super combine, so yeah, Vanek is dead. But remember, he liked animal videos, so we're supposed to feel sad. He watched animal videos. Now he's dead. Feel sad. Yeah, me neither. And that's where the episode ends. Oh boy. Okay, like I said, I do consider this to be the best episode so far. But we're not there yet. We are not there yet. The problem is every single previous episode has weighed this down. Now, I don't want to double up on the things I was critiquing before as we were going through the episode, but I do have to say that there is technically 4 Spartans in this episode and no Spartan armor, okay? If you wanted a simple fix to this episode, I think I've got it. There is no Master Chief in this episode, there is no Spartans, there is no Silver Team or anything like that. You take the characters of Silver Team and you replace them with ODSTs, original ODST characters. And we have an ODST episode during the Battle of Reach, at the very start of Reach, while all of this is going on. Yes, it would still be the Silver Timeline, so therefore it is still inherently shit, but it would be better, and I think it would elevate this episode quite a lot. Individually, in isolation, the episode it's okay. You could watch it for like 40 minutes? You could put it on for 40 minutes and be like, oh, I was somewhat entertained. As a Halo episode, though, it's god-awful. It's a terrible Halo episode. It still is. And like I said, it's the previous episodes that bring this down so much. And the fact that we have this terrible interpretation of Master Chief, this terrible interpretation of Keyes, the Mackie, there's no Fel Vadimir on this planet, there's no Fleet of Particular Justice, I don't think the Pillar of Autumn exists, the Jackals look like Argonians from Elder Scrolls, and they have energy swords. There's so much wrong, there is still so much wrong. Yet, however, I will admit and agree with pretty much everyone, this is the best episode so far. Best of the worst is probably the best way I could describe it. And whoa, Paramount, you killed off 2 black people and a gay couple on this episode. I didn't know you had that dog in you.